Register today for the 28th Annual Push Excel Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Breakfast. Monday, January 15, 2018, from 8 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. in Chicago, Illinois, at the Hyatt Regency, Chicago.
Register today for the Rainbow Push Coalition and the Citizenship Education Fund 21st Annual Rainbow Push Wall Street Project Economic Summit. Join Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. and many other notables February 8th and 9th, 2018 at the Sheraton New York Times Square Hotel.
Welcome to the live International Saturday Morning Rainbow Push Coalition broadcast. Today is our national spokesperson. Well, tomorrow is our national spokesperson, Jonathan Luther Jackson's birthday. We want to say happy birthday. We're celebrating with a powerful special luncheon for Jonathan after the broadcast. You ought to call somebody right now, 773-256. 2775. Text somebody, tweet somebody, tell them to tune in. We're live streaming. We're on the Impact Network. We're on live on Facebook. You can go to the Rainbow Push Coalition right now. We're on iHeartMedia, WVON, 1690 AM. We are streaming live. There's no reason why you can't connect to us. It's not cold on your stream. It's not cold on your Facebook. It's not cold on your Twitter. Tune in. Text your friends. Text your family. Thank you for joining us in all of our satellite cities, whether it's in New York, where the Wall Street Project will be coming in February, or if you're in satellite cities in D.C., we're in Silicon Valley, we're in Houston, Texas. We are wherever you are, and we're in Detroit, Michigan, where we'll be having our Dr. King celebration on January 15th, and then we're in Chicago. We want to say thank you to those of you who watch us and listen to us in Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, Poland, South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, and France, and so many other countries. Some are even watching us in Korea. We want to say thank you to all of our members, past and present, all of you who renewed your membership during our anniversary month. It's not too late to be a member. You need to join PUSH right now. It's $35 a year, $15 for students and seniors. I want to thank you for all of your prayers, all of your celebrations with us this year, all of your well wishes. If you've not heard from us, if you didn't get a card from us, if you don't receive Reverend Jackson's column every week, you need to call us right now, 773-256-2775. If you want to make a donation, if you want to make a contribution, if you want to get connected, get involved, if you want to buy a T-shirt, if you want to buy a sweatshirt, if you want to help us brand the Rainbow Push, call us right now, 773-256-2775. Follow Reverend Jackson on Twitter. Follow Reverend Jackson on Facebook. Friend him on Facebook. You can go to Facebook, Twitter for the Rainbow Push Coalition. And more importantly, those of you who call yourselves millennials, you're under the age of whatever, you're a part of Push for Excellence. If you're under the age of me, which is really low, then what you need to do is become a part of Push for Excellence. We're hosting our annual Dr. King celebration. You're going to hear more about that. Today we dedicate our broadcast to Reverend Curtis Burrell. longtime civil rights activist and co-founder of COCO, the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization. Our own Wanda Sharif, longtime PUSH, a founding member, to John Barfield, founder of Bartech, to Leroy Frazier, first African-American to integrate the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And we're praying today for Willie Mae Jordan, the mother of our COO, Bonita Parker. That's why I'm here and she's not today. She's been hospitalized. Her mother's been hospitalized. So we're praying for that family. We're praying for the famous basketball star, Dr. Julius Erving. And then, on a happy note, we want to congratulate Nakia Walker, first black female mayor of Charlottesville, Virginia, Melvin Carter, first black mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, and Mr. Dana Grisham, who is now chief of staff for the recently elected U.S. Senator from the segregationist state of Alabama. Give them all a round of applause. So, shop at our Freedom Store if you're in Chicago. If not, just call us, 773-256-2775. If you want a membership and you're not tech savvy, just call us, 773-256-2775. People are waiting on the phone to hear from you. And then, in our store, you'll be able to purchase sweatshirts, T-shirts online, and soon caps and everything else. And we now have a very special presentation from Reverend's fraternity. There are other fraternities, but this is Reverend's fraternity. Omega Psi Phi. Well, won't you come now? Omega Psi Phi, they don't step, they hop. Brian McCoy has brought the Omegas. They have a presentation, and then they're going to show you how they do their thing.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to honor a man who has served for those who could not serve for themselves for over 50 years. And we're here to honor our brother, the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, Sr. So Reverend Jackson became an Omega at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana in 1960. All right. And so today we got a resolution that's going to be read. We also got a special presentation. But before we do that, we're just going to have a short step show for him. All right. All right, so those of you who do not know what Omega Psi Phi is, we were founded on the campus of Howard University on November 17th, 1911. See, that's what happens. He done caught the spirit. So while Brian is putting the jacket on and we're going to pin him, I'm going to invite Brother Charles Bruce to read the resolution.
The talented 10th District of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporation. Resolution for Brother Jesse L. Jackson, Sr. According to the Executive Board of the talented 10th District of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the 36th 10th District Representative, and our Almighty God, the Supreme Basilisk of the universe. We, The men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated are honored that for over 50 years, Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr. has been a constant leader and fighter for African Americans and those who are underserved, undereducated, and undervalued, and has lived up to Omega Psi Phi's cardinal principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Whereas Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr. pledged Omega Psi Phi Fraternity via Pi Psi chapter in 1960 at the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana. Whereas Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr. transferred to North Carolina A&T and later joined Mu Xi chapter. Whereas Brother Jesse L. Jackson was a leader in the civil rights movement and was appointed by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who is a founder of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, to lead Operation Breadbasket as his first director in Chicago in 1966. Operation Breadbasket sought to combine theology and social justice to effect positive economic, educational, and social policies for African Americans. Whereas Brother Jesse L. Jackson became the leader of Operation Push, People United to Save Humanity in 1971, which was dedicated to improving the economic conditions of African American communities across the United States, and launched Push Excel, which was dedicated to developing young people into leaders and keeping inner city youth in school, helping them pursue a post-secondary education and assisting with job placement. Whereas in 1984 and 1988, Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr. became a Democratic candidate for the office of the President of the United States. And how much better things would have been if he could have been elected. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the men of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, has named Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr. as one of our most famous men of Omega, and will continue his fight for social, economic, and educational justice around the world for people of color and those living below poverty levels. On behalf of the talented 10th District, encompassing the states of Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, the 10th District Representative, Brother Darrell L. Jones, we honor Brother Jesse L. Jackson Sr., humbly submitted on this 6th day of January, 2018. A copy of this resolution will be placed in the archives of the talented 10th of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Can you imagine Reverend Hoppin at A&T? Give him a round of applause. Now we want you to witness one of our honorees. There's a film about We Are Rising. It is a story of historic black colleges where you would see these kind of step shows. You would see this kind of love, brothers and sisters in sororities and fraternities. Want you to turn your attention to the screen and watch We Are Rising. It's a story of HBCUs. We're going to show that film in its entirety at Rainbow Push next Saturday as we tribute and salute the memory and legacy of Dr. King after the broadcast.
The question for African Americans has always been, what is education's purpose? Who controls it? And what is the relationship of education to the broader aspirations of our people?
The more the system denies you the chance to read and to write, the more that becomes a prize that you must have.
Black colleges were redefining what it meant to be black in America. You were pursuing a career where intellect mattered.
An educated black population could not be an enslaved black population.
If you weren't out there demonstrating, then something had to be wrong with your school.
We wanted freedom now, but whites were not prepared for any changes here.
I think they should be kept out any way possible.
A slaveholder could work a slave to death. He could rape a slave. He could do virtually anything but teach a slave how to read or write.
As soon as the war breaks out, The first thing they want is to get an education.
They wanted those schools to be as free as possible from paternalism, from racism, whether subtle or blatant.
Said you better let my...
Movements are easily birthed on HBCU's campuses.
We must love and protect each other.
We're all going through the same experience.
Said you better let my...
HBCU is somewhere where I can be completely myself.
Let my people go.
The Black college experience provides the place to be in the majority. That is such a unique and empowering experience.
This HBCU experience has taught me that anything is possible as long as you have that one spark.
To is what we do at Rainbow Push Coalition, and now we are excited because you're going to see this young lady and others in our oratorical competition at the breakfast. One of the most powerful programs we have at Push is our oratorical program. You know her, you've seen her. She's the face of our oratorical program in many ways. Thank you, Judge Hill. We have our own Carly Lewis, a fourth grader at Sutherland. Reverend Jackson challenged all of us to read the Emancipation Proclamation. Well, today, this fourth grader is going to recite it for you.
Whereas on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord, 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, the following to wit, that on the first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforth, and forever free. The executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authorities thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons, or in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. Abraham Lincoln is known as the great emancipator, but right here in our time, God has blessed us with an emancipator, a man who has dedicated his life for the fight for liberty and justice. Would you all please stand to your feet and welcome the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr.
I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. Maybe down and pushed away. At the end of the day, I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. Look at somebody and say that I am somebody. Hey, I may be down but not destroyed. I may be empty but not void, 'cause I am somebody.
Somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop the violence. Save the children. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. I will register and vote. My vote matters. Every vote matters. I will vote. My vote matters. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Let me hear you scream. Everybody.
Somebody. I may be wounded, but I am. Yeah. I may be down, but I'm not destroyed.
singers. Today we're grateful to God to be here because of the very cold weather in Chicago. Last week our pipes burst and we got them fixed this week and they burst again. All up and down the neighborhood say, but nothing can stop us from creativity and the will of God. We'll meet, we'll stand up, and we'll fight back. Put your hands together. We'll be going up to Mayo Clinic this week, continuing our quest for a restoration of health. We need your prayers to that extent. Let me say that we are in the season of Dr. King's birthday celebration. We'll be honored in Chicago this coming week, the 12th, downtown Chicago. Next Saturday will be a special day, a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and at St. Sabina with Father Flake on the 14th. And on the 15th, we'll be at the Hyatt for our annual King Scholarship Breakfast. One thing delights me, a young lady who came to us some years ago trying to make it to college. She didn't have any money. She is now a medical doctor. We're going to honor her. One of our honorees, Dr. Brian Stevens, who has written extensively on the lynching of black people, one of the most able scholars in our world today. After 243 years of slavery, 205,000 blacks were lynched between 1880 and 1940. No one has documented that work better than has Dr. Stevens. He'll be our special guest at the King Breakfast on that occasion. And of course, we'll be in Detroit for that night. So we have lots of work to do. We thank you for your presence today. A kind of special day of dedication to Jonathan Jackson. Jonathan's our national spokesman. Jonathan was born, it was in the day of the winter. It was January the 7th, 18 years ago. And Dr. Rudolph Moraine was the first African-American doctor at Holy Cross Hospital. And Jonathan was his first patient. John was born at Holy Cross Hospital, the first African-American baby born there. When he was sick, Jonathan contracted the pneumonia. One of his lungs became totally black and almost died. Dr. King came and visited Jonathan at University of Chicago Hospital. His dad didn't have enough sense to take a picture of it. He held him in his arms and prayed for him. Jonathan's been speaking ever since. Jonathan's a renowned economic scholar and activist, and God has blessed Jonathan with gifts, and he loves the people. But when we announced last week we were going to honor Jonathan today, after the meeting today with some food and stuff like that, we got a call from J.B. Pritzker, who's running for governor in the middle of the week. So he wanted to come by and honor Jonathan Day and have words to say. I might add, for all the other candidates, you had the same opportunity he had. It was a public announcement. If you want to come in the coming weeks, you can come too, right? And we have an open platform. Hear what you have to say. Say, hear what you have to say. And say what we need to hear. End the violence. End the violence. End racial separation. Love one another. Build houses and health care and jobs. Make sense to us. We'll send you to another house. Public housing. Springfield. J.B. Pritzker.
Well, my goodness, nothing could top that. Except, of course, Carly Lewis. We stand up and take a bow. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I just want to say how great it is to be back here with you, and I want to remind you that a week from now, we're all going to be together again, of course, to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. He once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? What are you doing for others? Honoring the legacy of Dr. King and answering that question every day is Reverend Jesse Jackson. Reverend, you and your work with Rainbow Push and with Operation Breadbasket honestly have been transformational, not just for civil rights in the United States, but everywhere in the world. Everywhere. I was once taught that it is everyone's obligation in the world to nudge the world forward in a positive way. It's everyone's obligation to nudge the world forward. If that's the case, then you've given it a big shove. Now, I also want to be here especially for my friend Jonathan. Jonathan, happy birthday, my friend. Should I start singing now? Now? No. Yeah. Well, as some of you heard, Jonathan's middle name, anybody know what his middle name is? That's right, because of his godfather. Now, I can tell you that he really does that name proud. I've seen it. In traveling our city with Jonathan, I've seen the respect he has for others. I was looking here, respect, dignity, freedom, equality. Jonathan stands for that every single day. Every single day. He works to lift people up. His commitment to expanding opportunity, his fight for justice. Jonathan, I'm so proud to be your brother in that fight. Now, there are those that come into your life, and by virtue of their charisma and their kindness and their certitude, they have a profound impact on you, right? Well, I want to thank you, Jonathan, for the profound impact that you've had on my life. Thank you. As I seek to live up to those values, as I seek the governorship of the state of Illinois, I want you to know I'm honored to have you standing with me. Thank you. Now, Dr. King said that we're now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We're confronted with the fierce urgency of now. This is a quote, the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, he said, there is such a thing as being too late. There is no time for apathy or complacency, he said. This is a time for vigorous and positive action. Did you hear that? The fierce urgency of now. As with so many of Dr. King's words, they ring true today as they did 50 years ago. With systematic disinvestment in communities across our state, with black communities still shut out of basic access to jobs, to housing, to healthcare and education, with opportunities still so reserved for the few and not for the many, the fierce urgency of now is upon us. Now, Dr. King said, now. Now. When it's time, when is it time? When is it time to pursue and practice justice? When? Now. When is it time to fight for justice? Now. Well, it's time that we brought not just jobs into this community, but true wealth and prosperity. We have to bring access to capital into the neighborhoods that need it most. So people right here can start and build businesses right here. And here's why this is so important. Because when you start a business here, you're going to expand it here. And when you expand it here, you're going to create jobs here. And you'll keep the equity and the profits right here. So when should we do this? Now. Now's the time that we demand that every child in Illinois gets a quality education that they deserve. No matter what zip code they live in, no matter their skin color, no matter their income, no matter. And those things should never determine whether or not a child has a real chance to succeed. So I say stop failing our kids and start funding our schools. When? Now's the time for fair housing in our city. In 1966, Dr. King addressed the issue of open housing, and he said, We need the community coming together with a mighty voice that would reach the halls of power. That's what he said. 50 years later, when is it time for the black community in Chicago to get real and fair access to affordable housing? Now! None of these things, prosperity, jobs, quality education, affordable housing, none of these things will happen without a fight. None of them. We must march. We must make phone calls. We must write letters. We must rally. We must knock doors. We must pursue justice with vigor and with the fierce urgency of now. April will mark 50 years since Dr. King was taken from us. We thank God for him and for all of those who have carried on his legacy. I'm proud to have stood with you for decades in the fight for justice, and I promise you that as governor, I will be your loyal servant in that cause. Thank you very much, and happy birthday, my friend Jonathan. Happy birthday.
We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord.
Sing that song, everybody.
Trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet.
Just one verse.
Singing, oh, 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 can't turn around, no, by faith.
Let me say, as we continue our work, and Dr. King said, I was blessed to be with Dr. King 50 years ago on his last birthday. We did not know it would be his last birthday. Let me tell you how we celebrated it that day under his leadership. I urge you to meet us at the Hyatt on the 15th of January at our King Scholarship Breakfast. He had breakfast with his family around 8 o'clock that morning, Brother Lee. Around 10, he came to the church basement with a windbreaker jacket on and a shirt, coat, and he had gathered together a group of allies from Appalachia, whites from Appalachia, some Native Americans from the reservation with whom we'd never worked before, some Latinos, some Chavez group from Southwest Texas, some blacks from Deep South, some Jewish allies from New York led by Al Lowenstein. We focused on how to end poverty. Poverty is a weapon of mass destruction. America's too great for so few to have so much and so many to have nothing. Hunger should be illegal in America, and health care should be affordable. So hunger should be illegal, and health care and education should be affordable. And we talked, and then at noon times, and Dr. Clayton brought the cake in around and said, Dr. Vick, was your birthday? We didn't know it was his birthday. We stopped, we ate the cake real fast and drank some punch. Then there was a rally that afternoon at the workshop on how to end the war in Vietnam. He believed that bombs dropping in Vietnam would explode in our cities with abandonment and neglect. So we spent with Dr. King his birthday in church, fighting to end poverty, illiteracy, and disease and violence, and teach people to love one another, to live together, stop the violence, save the children, a measured celebration, and then end the war. Stop the killing, all time, forever. I'm blessed today to have the privilege of having a son, beloved, whose birthday is tomorrow. We honor his, and I'm going to do happy birthday to you. Y'all like that? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jonathan Luther. Happy birthday to
you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to sing very heartfelt a thank you for all of those that have wished me a very happy birthday. I'd like to wish you a very happy birthday for the dates that I might have missed, did not know about. So give yourself a round of applause for your birthday. I want to thank God for 52 years of life and living. I want to be thankful to God for whatever time I have remaining on this earth. No man can count the days or the time, but I do want it to be meaningful. I want it to have made a difference. And I'm honored to be here with my father, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. The good Lord has given me one of my birthday wishes already. My father's health is increasing and strengthening. And thank you. We're still here. I'd like to say a very special thank you to Brother J.B. Pritzker. He's running for governor, as you know. And, you know, I don't think much of too many people in too many offices, and I haven't done it myself, and I've not gone all in and put my stakes in behind a candidate. But there are many fine people running for governor, but this is my friend and the person that I've chosen to support and endorse, Mr. J.B. Pritzker. I tell you this. When JB first started running, I said, why? Just tell me, why would you run for office? Now, in case you didn't know it, he's a very, very wealthy man. And if I were a wealthy man, what would I probably do right now? I don't know. I'd probably customize a 747, invite all of you all on it. We would just fly all around the country all day and night. Oh, I could find a way to have some fun. But I said, why would you want to go to Springfield? You've got houses, you're charitable, you've done so many things. And he tells me, he says, Jonathan, I was born with a lot. But with that becomes a huge responsibility. And I've always felt as if I had to do big things. And I've done charitable things. I've helped 100,000 people. Children get food that didn't have food in the state of Illinois. I've put $100 million into the Innocence program, all the things I've talked about on the Innocent. He's the largest contributor in the entire world to Innocence, having personally contributed $100 million. He stood on a platform for juvenile justice to make sure all children that have these minor offenses have automatic expungement. You don't need lawyers, resources. You should have your time served and finished. So what attracts me to JB? JB stands for justice. And so henceforth, going forward, he's JB, and I want you to refer to me, if P. Diddy can keep changing his name, call me JL, and then maybe I'll get wealthy too. But ladies and gentlemen, we've got 73 days before the primary on March 20th. We're gonna hit these streets just like the sign that's on the post office, through the rain, the sleet, the cold, we will not stop. There is a cruel and wicked man down in Springfield. Why am I saying this? Am I being political? No, I'm not. This is my birthday, and this is what I want to say. I've got most of everything that I want. I drive a minivan, my children are healthy, the family is happy, my mother and father are alive. I was raised with my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, my grandparents on both sides. If I just had to thank God and have 1,000 tongues to say thank you, thank you, thank you for 52 years. I remember one person telling me about JB's wealth, and they said, Jonathan, but you know, he's a wealthy man, and that's what attracts you to him. I said, well, in some ways, I'm richer than JB. And they said, what do you mean by that, with a snide smirk on their face? I said, you know, he lost his father when he was 7. He lost his mother when he was 14 or 17. Thank God I was raised with all of my parents, all of my grands, my entire life. And when I spoke with JB about it, he had a twinkle in his eye just wondering, and I could see the pain of his personal reflection of not knowing his parents the way that I've known mine, and I could see the joy he had for me and the blessing that I had to be thankful for. So I appreciate you, Brother JB, so much. And what is it like to grow up 52 years later being the son of the Reverend Jesse Jackson? A freedom fighter extraordinaire. And in my last words, I'm going to share with you, having traveled the world with my father, and Dad, I'm going to have to write this stuff down because I look at you as dad, but you are extraordinary. My earliest childhood memories are when you do something wrong at school and you're one of the children and you're in 3rd grade, they're in 5th grade, they're in 8th grade, you look at them as the upperclassmen. But when something goes wrong, you can hear the teachers and the principals. That was Jesse Jackson's son. I was in 2nd grade. They were 7th graders. What do you mean? So you get pushed to the front, whether you like it or not. Everybody knows your father's name. And the worst thing that can happen to you is your father has to come to school for something you did wrong. Now the whole school knows. They all go to the window to see Jesse Jackson coming up there. And then you have Mrs. Jackson at home, so you got a double whammy coming. But when we went to see Saddam Hussein, and President George Bush had never talked with Saddam Hussein directly. They were going through correspondence and intermediaries. And I think of this war that is the longest war in American history. And this young nation, President Saddam Hussein told my father, he says, you know, Reverend Jackson, this is the Assyrian culture. We are a part of a long kingdom. There's over 6,000 years of civilization right here in the Tigris and Euphrates, and the Hammurabi Code was created just up the river from here. I wish you had the time to stay now that I have turned over these prisoners that the Americans had talked about. America's but a baby amongst the nations of the earth. You're not even 400 years old yet, and who knows if you're going to make it. That's what Saddam Hussein told us. And then President Hussein says, Reverend Jackson, I know the Americans are coming in here. Didn't he say it then? He says, but it's going to be hard for them to get out of here. This is America's longest war. We went over there, and my father was ridiculed, laughed at, but he had a faith, and I want God to bless me with his faith of giving and caring, that optimism, that hope. And he wanted to know, why was Reverend Jackson over here to gain these just 400 people? My father said, somebody has to break the cycle of pain. Somehow we have to talk, and if we don't talk, we can't resolve our conflicts. And so he loaded up a plane with 200 and some people and said that we could take them back to America. And of course, we had plane tickets. We did not have a plane. So then my father said, President Hussein, we're going to need a plane to get the people out. And he told his magistrate, go get them a plane so they can get out. We got to the airport, and then the people on the plane says, these were the women and the children. They said, but our husbands are down in Kuwait City. How come our husbands aren't here? So the plane was ready to depart. He says, well, excuse me. And then he tells the security detail, we've got to go back to see President Saddam Hussein. I'm like, Dad, this young child that was a human shield that's on the plane now, and these women that are here, I think you've done a marvelous job. Let's go. He says, no, we have to go back and find the rest of their family members. We went back to the presidential palace, behind the green walls, in the green zone, in the presidential palace. And Saddam Hussein says, what does he want? We need to go and find these fathers, these men that are in Kuwait City. And he tells his deputy minister, Tariq Aziz, get him a plane, let him go down to Kuwait City. He says, but they're holed up in all kind of places, but if they want to go with you, they're free to go. They can get out of here and leave too. So then we flew down to Kuwait City, and my nerves are shot. When we get to Kuwait City, of course, all the communication is out, and they have sidewinding missiles and so forth, and we're in some minivans and a caravan going down there and bombed out tanks because they had already done the invasion. And then we get to the U.S. compound, and that movie is totally inaccurate. Ambassador Wilson was afraid to come out, and what they didn't show you is Reverend Jesse Jackson was asking to bring all the men out because they were too afraid to step out. And Valerie Plum was a CIA agent. I'm gonna wrap this story up. So all those men came back out as we were looking at sidewinding missiles pointing at our minivan. So that's the reason I don't need to go to another amusement park. I don't need to see a horror movie. I can just recount some of the trips that I've taken. And those persons came out. We got back to Iraq, to Iraq, to Baghdad, went back to say thank you to President Assad. I mean, President Assad is another story. There's Bashar Assad and there's Hafez Assad. I'm going to leave that for another week when we talk about it. When we went back to see Saddam Hussein, my father said, well, thank you. Now we have 400 people, and they are heading to the airport. But I need one more favor, if you will. We need a bigger plane because there are more people. He told them, then get them a 747 so you can get them all out of here and they can leave too. So on this birthday, and this happened in Damascus, Syria with Bashar and Hafez al-Assad. This happened in Libya where they bombed out. We've done this in Angola, in Namibia, and in South Africa. Dad, you are remarkable, and no matter how big I get or how old I get, I will always keep looking up to you. In conclusion, on this birthday celebration, we have 88 days before the 50th anniversary of the assassination of the death of the Reverend Martin Luther King. There are but 88 days remaining, and something in my heart at this time of year gets ignited and rekindled. I ask myself, what have I done in these years of my life on this earth? Reverend Martin Luther King left at 39 years of age. If we look back over our life and do an inventory, what have we done for the cause of justice? Are we worthy to be beyond the pearly gates to get to the kingdom? And I have this vision of heaven that, God bless, hopefully I make it there and we see each other again on that great day. I want to be in the VIP line. I want to be with the red carpet. I want the angels having the trumpet sounding a certain sound, saying, welcome home, job well done. So for the time that we have left, count the days. They are not many. If you live 27,500 days and God blesses you to be 75 plus years, you've lived a full inventory of your time. Don't waste the time. And so at 39 years of age, let's reflect upon the life of Reverend Martin Luther King. He's been dead longer than he's ever lived. And those that hated him, despised him, are trying to taint and stain his memory. They're trying to erase his memory. It's up to us, the few, to fight and carry on that mission. When Newsweek magazine publishes online his picture last week in the casket, they're trying to send a message of showing us an assassinated Reverend Martin Luther King dead, hoping that will dwindle our spirits. But my God, I'm fired up today. We got 73 days before the primary, 88 days left before we come back in here and pack out this auditorium with parents, grandparents, children, great-grandchildren, the people that stood with Reverend Martin Luther King, the parents that did not stand with him. You ought to do something before the good Lord takes you out of here. We're going to make this a better world, and I want to thank God for each and every one of you for having wished me well.
Let me make this observation because we're going to end this today and going to have an eating celebration for Jonathan today. But let me make these last few minutes on the broadcast. The crown jewel of Dr. King's struggle was the right to vote. The reason why we won the election in Virginia, one of every 5 votes was African American. Every vote counts. Roy Moore would have been the senator from Alabama, and Trump would have been bragging, but Dr. King's spirit in people, one of every 3 votes was black. So when we vote, our votes matter. If we vote in great numbers and vote our needs and our hopes, we'll have a new Congress. We'll revive our hopes and dispel our fears. Dr. King had never limited us just to one side of town. He never thought it'd be freedom on one side of town. Reverend Dr. Lee, please stand. He's one of our Korean, Asian, Korean brothers. Right now, the North Korean president has a thing on the nuclear weapon, and so does Mr. Trump. And so we're going to mobilize our Asian American allies around the nation, because we together we must stop the nuclear war and the threats of nuclear war. JB, a strange thing happened last week. Trump said, I got the bigger weapon, I can shoot more accurately. The president of North Korea said, I want to send some of my athletes to South Korea, meet with my brothers. You know, so our government was insulted. A peace gesture got on our nerves. See, we want to fight. But somebody in the world wants peace. Stop the violence. One Korea, let the demilitarized zone become a peace zone. Let's reunify the Korean families. Don't build a wall between us and Mexico. Build a bridge. Talk with the Palestinians. Don't threaten them. Talk with the Pakistanis. Don't threaten them. End war now. There's no future in war. There's hope in peace. We will learn to live together as brothers and sisters. We'll vote, we'll vote, we'll vote. We have the faith, God has the power. We have the faith, God has the power. I want to say this last minute. Reverend Meeks' father, Brother Meeks, made this transition as a great, say Reverend James Meeks and Salem, we love you very much. Put your hand together for Reverend James Meeks and his father made this transition. Say, I am somebody. I am somebody. I am somebody. I will vote. My vote will matter. My vote will matter in Detroit, in New York, in Mississippi, in Atlanta, in Oakland, in Seattle. There will be peace on earth. We will be peacemakers and freedom fighters. I am God's child. Let me hear you scream. I want to take up our collection now. I need your support. You are watching us online. You may go to your www.rainbowpush.org and join, so you can join Rainbow Push today. Now, Jonathan, shh. Y'all turn him loose. I'm getting ready to raise money. Y'all gonna block the richest man in the house. But y'all sit down somewhere. Shh. Well, y'all wait a minute. I'm getting ready to raise money. Y'all gonna block the richest man in the house. Y'all gonna give a gesture. He gonna give more than that today. Say, JB, do the right thing. Now, on a serious note, what sustains our work across these years is a partnership with people who believe in this proposition of justice and freedom. If those whose backs are against the wall don't stand up, who will? Say, those who would dare be free must strike the first blow. Now, some of you have not renewed your membership for this year, so I need you to renew your membership today. Some have never joined. If you don't have a Rainbow Push in your pocket, in your book, stand. If you don't have a Rainbow Push, please stand. If you don't have a Rainbow Push membership card, stand. Because I want you to, if you want to join Push, stand. You want to join today, please stand. You want to join today, please stand. Now, shh. Some of y'all talking. It's cold in the auditorium. The heat up here ain't automatic. Say heat, cost. Lights, cost. Don't get busy. I start raising money. Don't y'all get busy. Just be real quiet for a minute. We're going to have big fun of it. If you will give, first of all, if you have not gotten a table for the King breakfast, it's $1,500 a table. You've not got it, please stand. You'll have to get a table for the January the 15th breakfast, King breakfast. Please stand. Jonathan, y'all be quiet over there. I know it's your birthday. You must be getting old. You like a ticket for the breakfast is $150. Tables are $1,500. Then there are sponsorships. If you would like to give $100 or more to Rainbow Push today, please stand. Now do me a favor, y'all clean out this section for a minute. Shh. No, only stop talking, start walking in that. Get over here. I need some. Yeah. Shh. If Kendall wants to come, he's welcome. The other guy running, he wants to come, so all of them can come. Let's see what they have to say. They have stuff, and we have stuff. We're going to vote who makes the most sense for us. Now, you give $100 or more, please stand. 100 or more. And some of y'all want to use your swipe cards. John Adams has the swipe card machine down here. You give $100 or more, please stand for Rainbow Push. We need your help. Thank you very much. Come forward. You give $100 or more. Please come forward. Thank you so much. Omega Man, I know y'all not broke. Come on down here. You give $100. Jonathan, it must be his birthday. Shh. Play something soft and sweet, but nothing noisy, because I don't have nothing cracker but money right now. I have to go to Mayo Clinic next week. Pray for me as we go through this process, but God will see us through. Right? Deborah Ali. Thank you, Deborah, for $100. Thank you very much. Your sacrifice, you give 100 or more. Please stand, whoever you are. Shh. Come right over here. Put your money in an envelope. Make it very silent. Lee, I know you got money. Reverend Lee, Korean American. Y'all got money and you make A's. Shh. You'll give $50 or more. Please stand. Please stand. Shh. We need your support. I want y'all to join Push. And in the back is our Rainbow Push store for our products that we sell. What's this? Push Choir, $50. Thank you so much. Thank you, darling. What did it say? You give $50 or more, please stand. You give $50 or more, please stand. You will join today. You will join today. Thank you so much. You will online. You will join today. You will join today. Please stand. You'll give $50 or more. You'll give $25 or more. Stand. You'll give $50 or more. Please stand. Betty, who's this? Frank Thomas, $50. Thank you so much. Dan Tucker, $100. Thank you, Dan.
Judith Armstrong, 2 King breakfast tickets.
Get a big hand, 2 King breakfast tickets. I want all of you to be at the King breakfast now. The King breakfast, January 15th. Henry, I know you have my Henry, get up. Bring someone down here. Come on, give it up. Checks made payable to Rainbow Push. Belinda Smith, $25. Thank you so much. Look at that big roll of money he got. Just give him one of them hundreds, Henry. This will not take long. And when this is over, what we're going to do, take a little social break. We're going to fix up the room for food. We're going to have a little birthday eating festival for Jonathan. You're welcome to stay. It's going to take a few minutes. You say, I'm welcome to stay. If I've contributed, I'm more welcome. Sister Barbara Tucker, $100. Thank you so much. Henry Gray, $100. Amazing. If you've not yet given, raise your hand. The ushers will come by. If you've not yet given, raise your hand. The ushers will come by now. That song y'all was singing a while ago, Mayon, what was that song y'all was singing? Yeah, come by faith. Y'all do a little of that together. Give our singers a big hand. Y'all sang so sweet today. So I've come this far. Back when I was a singer, I used to sing that song. Y'all know that was a long time ago. I've come this far by faith. If you've not yet given, raise your hand. Who's wearing one of our T-shirts? Y'all see these I Am Somebody T-shirts, jerseys? They don't sell across the hall. Who else wearing some of our material? Betty's wearing one. He's wearing one of our. Let's stand. Let's stand. Let's stand.
This far by faith. Come on. Oh, my lady. Yes. Oh, trusting in. He's never failed me yet. No, no. Oh, we come this far.
So everybody say amen. 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 Amen.
Everywhere I go,
Everybody, everybody.
Oh, everywhere.
Let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Yes.
Everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Yeah.
Let it.
Let it shine. Good God, divine, let. Oh, this little light of mine. This little light of mine.
If you want to get some of our Rainbow Push paraphernalia, t-shirts and hoods and the like, you either get them across the hall or order them today.
Flip it.
Rainbow Push paraphernalia and the like across the hall. Keep saying them. Y'all hang around for a little while. So hang around for Jonathan's birthday. I'm going to sing some more of his birthday today. Hit it, hit it.
Amen.